Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be tearing out the rear end in the Deathtrap. Getting ready for some upgrades. Stay tuned. Alright, so as you see in the previous video, we took out one of the rod ends and they're all cracked. So what we're going to do now is get all the rest of the 4-link bars out on both the shocks, get this rear end housing out of here, and get ready for something that's going to be showing up here soon. Alright, so the rear end's removed. There's nothing really wrong with this design, the triangulated 4-link, in my opinion. Just for what we're doing, the main issue is just those rod ends. So they've got to go. They're not going to hold up. We need to have the heim joint ends in all of these. So at this point, we need to remove all the bars, and I believe we'll cut off all the brackets up in here on both sides, and we should be ready. I'm not sure what we're going to do with shock mounts yet, but I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. Let's think about maybe even possibly hitting up Quarter Max and seeing about getting some decent shocks for this. The problem is they're going to want to sell me a drag race shock, and obviously this is not for drag racing, but I'm not saying we won't take it to the track in the future just to see what it'll run. Well, let's go ahead and get all those removed and cut off the frame, and then we'll go from there.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I don't know, I missed it. What the heck just happened, guys? Yeah, well, don't have an oil catch tank close to where you're... I thought I moved everything, but I didn't pay attention to that. Obviously, sparks shot over and went into that. Made a nice little fire, blew the cap. Blew the cap actually clear back to the garage door back there. We found it. Everyone's safe. We're good. We did go ahead and get everything cut off and ground down halfway decent anyways on both driver's and passenger side here. So that is all done. I'm just waiting for it to cool off just a bit so we can paint that. And the next step is going to be mounting up our crossover piece here. I've got some measuring to do. And what I would like to do for that piece there, it will not be able to be welded directly to the side frame. We're gonna have to make some pieces that come down. Otherwise our drive shaft will never make it through here because it'll be too high up. So some pieces I wanna make somewhat of a triangle type shape. And I wanna cut it out for that 2x3 tube. So that way, if I draw a little sketch here, if we had our frame like this, I can bring one plate down towards the inside, one on the outside, and then I'd like to slip that tube through there as it's going across to the other frame side, cap the end of it, and then I can weld all around the outside here, here, and then hopefully both outsides of the frame and inside. If that all makes sense. I mean, like I said, there's enough meat here, so there'd be a plate here with that tube coming through it. Give me all that extra meat, cap the end of that plate off. I just need to verify how low it needs to be, and everything else should be hopefully self-explanatory. You know that, and we need that piece to put our front brackets on for the 4-link kit is why we need that. So we've got to have some kind of piece to connect it to because it's designed for a 2x3 tube. And then we need to worry about the rear brackets, how we're going to get those onto the housing. And then I think real soon here we'll have the new stuff that I'm super excited to show you guys. So let's get to that. All right, guys, it finally showed up. We'll save this for last. I'm sure judging by the size of the package, maybe some of you can guess what it is. We'll start over here, Morgan. bring them up here. We'll show them what we got. This is parts that we got from Summit. I'll try and make this quick. Not even sure what's in here. Oh wow, nice big package for a spanner wrench. And if you know what a spanner wrench is, obviously you know what's going to be in one of these packages here. Again, this one is from Summit as well. First, we'll start off with the package here. This is a coilover spring, which means in here we have brand new, strange, double adjustable shocks. I'll open one of those up later. We did get the ICT billet hold down for the battery. This will work for the new 16-volt battery. And also in here, down here, we've got some of the studs up front. So since the wiring is already ran to the front of the truck, I'm just going to put a positive and negative stud up there, and we'll just connect the wires back to there. We'll go here. This is also a Summit package. And in here, this is an anti-roll bar. This is from Rhodes Race Cars. And this is supposed to be good for up to, I believe it was like 1,500 or something horsepower. So this is going to be a anti-roll bar for the rear of the truck that we're going to run. I mean, there's really nothing to show here without opening the rest of the package. So we'll do that as we get closer to that. This here is something that I mentioned was coming. This was supposed to be for Goliath, but we are going to steal and put this into the Deathtrap. And I want to give a huge shout out again to Quick Performance for hooking us up with this stuff. Guys there came through for us, got this stuff out right away, and it's here. We ordered a Menards 5-gallon bucket. Okay, let's see if we can get this out of here. This is usually the way they ship these.
So this was something unexpected. Put in a Menards bucket.
There we go. So again, this is the new third member that was going to go in Goliath, now going into Deathtrap. We'll cover up what this is, so that way it's top secret for us for now. Maybe someday we'll share what we're doing, but that's going to go in there. And last is this package. Okay, so if you haven't guessed by now, with all the other parts that we've gotten from Quick Performance and everything we're doing to the truck here with all the changes, what we have here from Quick Performance is brand new 9-inch housing. This is the Pro Fab. They do a Fab 9, which is just your standard center section like what we had in the truck. But this here is the Pro Fab series. I want to clarify that because there's a lot of people that I know I've seen online get confused with this. Sheet metal with the 3-inch tubes, and this is what our 3.0 gear's going in. So now we need to get this marked out where our brackets are going to go. We can get those put on here. It does have the ends welded on already, which I asked for, so the brackets we'll have to cut in half and we'll piece those together. Not a big deal. And we should be set. So let's go ahead and get this marked out, get this welded up so we can get this in the truck and see what this baby looks like up in there.
Let's go, baby!
Yeah. Alright, so it is a new day. Kind of been piecing each night together. Today is Wednesday. We've got tomorrow and Friday to get this thing wrapped up. It doesn't seem like the first time I've said we've only got a couple days to get something done, but you know, each time we've pulled through and we've made it happen. So what we've got now is actually the rear end parts so we can get this mounted. I went ahead and actually had some of them remade. Not that there was anything wrong with these, but this is a Quartermax kit, which came with everything. One thing is I would have had to cut this in half. The second thing is from the center of the axle to the bottom was like 8 3/8. And if you take a 15-inch rim and divide it in half, that's 7.5 inches. So we would have been sitting on this bottom bracket. So I had them remade. Two things. One, I cut off the bottom hole, and this gives me maybe like 1/8 of an inch play from the top here. So obviously had them split in half. That way I could weld the top half and bottom half. And now, instead of having a cutoff wheel, taking 1/8 of an inch out, they'll match up perfectly. So these will, they will not be like this, but slip right around there. That's a perfect fit around that 3-inch tube. And then I also had these brackets remade for the front. And we are going to butt these onto that 2x3 crossover tube with the drive shaft loop section in it. So that will give me a place to actually weld that up with all this extra meat hanging down here. That'll brace that for any pushing. Then we will run a tube across the inside of the frame at the top up here. Plus, these are also 1/4 inch versus the originals were only 3/16. I don't think I would have had an issue with these, but I was getting them made, so we bumped up. That's AR400, which is abrasion resistant plate. So it's definitely going to do the trick. And one other thing I added up here was a 3/8 bolt hole for that anti-sway bar there. I'm not sure how it's going to work, because when you put these two pieces together with the heim joint for these, there's a 3/4 gap. That is only a 1/2 inch. So I need to get spacers made for that. But we've got a box of parts. And we've got a lot of stuff that needs welded, a lot of stuff that needs assembled. So let's get back to it. And there's the first two inside brackets welded on. Again, I don't proclaim to be a good welder by no means. I might be able to lay some decent chicken scratches down. So those clips there, we're getting the brackets welded on. Like I said, these are the inside ones. Now I need to put my heim joints in here on the top and bottom, and then I'll put that shock spacer in the back here. They've got a billet one that came in the kit, and then that will space those out 3/4 of an inch apart. And we just repeat the process, and then all those brackets will be on. Then we need to start on that crossover piece, welding the brackets on there at the same location as this. So let's continue. So it's currently Friday morning, and we went ahead and got quite a bit of the work done on the truck last night. My brother came over and helped me and got some of the welding knocked out as far as the front cross member. And also, if you can see up here, let me turn the light on, we did get a panhard bar tacked into place. I just got to work on the rod ends for up here coming down to the housing. This one's going to be on an angle, the other one will be on the actual tube. And that's all in and leveled up. And then the biggest thing is I need to take and weld up like the shock bar on both ends and the tabs and all the tabs on the panhard bar. Finish welding in the cross member piece on the other side. And the tubes we added in the rear end back here to keep these brackets from trying to shift. Panhard bar, all that stuff needs to be finalized, welded up. We should be good to go. So hopefully the next update I give is everything is done and ready to go. Also, I never did give an update, but I die grind. I did the one wheel, and I actually had my brother do the other ones. He was able to get to the other ones the other night. And here's what they turned out like. Just need to rinse the shavings off, but he went ahead and got those bored out, so they've got plenty of clearance now. So there's the other 3 rims. We can get tires mounted on those today, and it's going to be a push. It's going to be a stretch, but we will persevere as usual, I do believe. So I'm going to get to welding, and we'll check back with you shortly. Okay, so the time lapse there, you've seen that we went ahead and got the rear housing, everything put back in. We've got the shocks installed. We also have the fuel pump, the lines hooked back up to the tank. We've got all of our 4-link bars installed here. And up in here, we've got our panhard bar and our anti-roll bar up in here. Everything's hooked up, ready to go. All the lines, all the electrical, everything is tucked back up and away. We're good there. Now, my brother called to let me know that he's got the axles re-drilled. Because if you don't remember in a previous video, we mentioned that these were drilled out for 5/8 drag studs. And we wanted to drill these out for the 1/2-inch ARP studs. So that way we could run the same rims as the Goliath and the Deathtrap. Or if we wanted to run like a passenger rim or anything like that, they're standard 1/2-inch studs. I don't have to keep drilling out rims every time I want to run a different one. But these are the quick performance 40 spline axles. So we need to take this countersunk bit. We need to countersink these on the back because there is just a small shoulder underneath the head of the ARP studs. We'll get those in, put our Menards bucket in, the 3rd member, and then we can get the axles in and we will be all set to go. Okay, well, moment has come. I've got all the tires mounted. We're going to let this down. If I said I wasn't nervous, I'd kind of be lying because it is, I don't know, 8 o'clock and I still have burnout tires to mount and a few other things. So if there's an issue, we might not make it. So we'll let her down here and see what happens. Okay, moment of truth. Okay, so rear shocks are definitely stiff. Didn't even come down at all. Oh yeah, that's stiff. Alright guys, I think I'm all ready with the truck. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up. I'm gonna back it outside here, maybe take it for a quick rip before it gets any darker out, and see what it does.